So my little cheat sheet here, the question was asked, how long did it take before you noticed a return of voluntary motor function? It took about 4 weeks after injury, and you know, there's not just the injury, there's the intervention that happens medically that actually adds more insult to what's already been injured. Just, you know, being cut open through the neck, in my case through both the frontal cut and also at the back of my neck. So both from the surgery and the anesthesia and the drug cocktail, all of those things kind of get intermixed with being able to voluntarily move anything. So for me, it was about 4 weeks after injury that I was able to voluntarily move my arms. Now, I had more volition in my left side than in my right. To this day, there's a variation on theme in my right side to my left side. Voluntary movement, I got to the point where I could then bend at the elbow. Still, handedness was elusive. So, you know, I couldn't feed myself until about the 7th week, when they were, you know, basically tied a spoon, one of those gimbal related spoons, so when you scoop something up, the spoon stays level. So they basically attached that to my hand. I'm sure many of you have had this occur. But there was no clear motion of hand. And below the top of my shoulders, in terms of the trunk of my body, there was sensation but no voluntary movement. I was pretty spastic. My diaphragm was functioning, but I couldn't cough or clear my throat. I had to be extremely careful when I was being either fed or attempting to feed myself, that I was slowed down enough where chewing was real clear and that swallowing was real clear, because, like I say, the diaphragm was not available to me to purge if I needed to. The spasticity for my particular body seemed to start in the belly and then radiate out into all of my limbs. And my particular format of spasticity was contraction. Many people, when they have spasms, extend in their body. Mine was a fetal position contraction type of spasticity. And I was very particular about the amount of antispasmodic drugs that I was willing to take. They offered me quite a lot of baclofen, and the baclofen is an antispasmodic, and that was being offered by mouth. And I at first resisted 100%, but then I was willing to take 5 milligrams of baclofen, which basically made it easier for them in the normal hospital type routine when they came to catheterize me, which was 6 times a day. If they would take 60 seconds to talk to my body in a calm way, they could cath me with no problem whatsoever. But if they were in a hurry and started pushing on my body would push back, and there was no way they could do a catheterization with me. So the 5 milligrams of baclofen softened the body enough so when they were in a rush, that my body was softer and more willing. as soon as I returned home, I came home after 8 weeks, still with this halo on my head, but as soon as I came home, I backed out of the baclofen and just eliminated it from my body completely. I found that the spasticity didn't frighten me, that it was actually useful in the sense that my muscles were responding to something. So my hand would make these really deep fists, my body would draw up into itself, and it felt good in my mind, and it wasn't, I didn't identify it as painful. I'm certain that some people consider this a painful sensation, but to me it was just sensation. And it, you know, it didn't last all that long. It would be, you know, come on very, very quickly, and some of the spasms stayed really tight for a couple of minutes before I could actually, my body would relax. But again, I found the spasticity a useful sensation. So I'm getting a little bit off point here because the question was, you know, how long did it take? At some level, I don't want to even say how long it took because every single one of us is different. And even 17 years later, I am continuing